Hi kids! Woo! Welcome to another episode of Bad Pop Song.
Yay!
The show where we take you on a magic carpet ride into my land, my carnival candy-like universe of musical cringe and film discussion and critiques and reviews and such like.
Your kingdom of bonus.
Yes. Oh, I like that. Kingdom of bonus. Yes. I Bowland I think is
Probably
great too. Yeah. It's gonna have like the when you enter the gates, it's like two big candy canes. It says Bowland.
It's like going to Disney World, yeah.
But better. No. I would never say that. Not
probably less expensive. Maybe less people vying for being first in line.
Let's say pay what you can.
Yeah, exactly.
That. Yeah. pay what you can. Bowland is pay what you can entrance.
And everybody is happy to be there.
And all your dreams will come true. As long as they're my dreams. Anyway, of course, I am Bo.
That's a Bo.
And your co-host is Daniel.
That's me.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, while you're at it,
I'm going to move myself over here.
Okay.
I don't know how it keeps doing that.
Anyway, it puts you wherever it feels like you need to go.
Yep.
Anyways, badpopsong.com. It's the website where you can find everything Bo, from music videos, previous episodes, writings and ramblings about other films, and
writings and ramblings.
Yeah. Everything Bo. Go there. Embrace the Bo. Feel the Bo surround you.
Mm-hmm.
At badpopsong.com.
Yes. Feel the Bo.
Feel the Bo
that surrounds you. Yes. I'm quite a vibe, aren't I? And if you are also watching us on YouTube, please like and subscribe. So once again, we are doing a movie episode.
Okay.
We are discussing the latest Wes Anderson film, currently in theaters, The Phoenician Scheme.
Okay.
Dan, are you a Wes Anderson fan?
I can honestly say I don't think I've seen any of his films. I'm familiar with the style.
I find that hard to believe. Really?
It's as far as I'm aware, unless there's like some really early ones.
Royal Tenenbaums?
Nope.
Grand Budapest Hotel?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
You know me, I don't watch films. So it still surprises me to this day that you want me to be on this podcast that talks about films.
I need you for far many other reasons. You're my sidekick.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
I can't imagine doing anything like this with anyone else.
I will be your launch pad any day.
Yes.
So yeah,
Phoenician
this is
Scheme.
the latest, and of course it has that trademark style of making it look like a staged stop motion animation piece when in reality it's actually like people.
That is a very good description of Wes Anderson.
I
films.
saw a headline that described it like that. I was like, oh, that's very apropos.
Yeah, they're very distinctively visual.
Mm-hmm.
Very colorful, very artistic. I mean, they almost look like what you mentioned, but they all, to me, I see them as like they almost look like doll houses.
Yeah,
and very colorful. What's the word I'm trying to use?
It's almost like a stage production.
Yeah, a stage production. I just had the word in my head to say.
I hate when that happens.
No, it happens to me constantly. No, they're like dioramas.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's very good word for that.
Very colorful, very detail-oriented dioramas. You know, everything is in a very specific place.
Yeah,
and depending on the scene, there are little tabs that describe like what the section is and that's the thing. There's a main thing kind of happening, but then in this diorama, there's like candlesticks like sitting up their way in the corner, but then there's like this little tab that says what they are, and somehow it's gonna like the candlestick's gonna fall and almost hit somebody on the head, or it does hit somebody on the head, and that's a Wes Anderson film.
Okay.
Another thing that I love about Wes Anderson films is they deal so much about like dysfunction and loss and grief, but everybody is so deadpan and matter of fact about it, and very non-reactionary.
It is a very specific style of acting. Yeah.
Yes, something traumatic will happen to this particular character, and their reaction will be, "Oh, that just happened. I guess I'm just going to have to reevaluate." That's pretty much a Wes Anderson film. Like there's no big dramatic cry scene, there's sometimes there's fighting and aggression and things like that, but that's probably like the most emotional you'll see characters be, is when they're physically engaging with one another. But most of the time they're just giving you these very deadpan, very non-reactionary kind of performances.
So odd.
To very like traumatic things that are happening to them. Like but yeah, again, I think that's part of Wes Anderson's charm and why I love the films.
It's what makes his films unique.
Absolutely. And Phoenician Scheme is no different. I have added this to my list of favorite Wes Anderson movies.
Really?
Yes. In fact, I think my favorite all-time Wes Anderson film is Isle of Dogs, which is completely animated. Yeah. That's right. Which I think you should see.
That's what everybody tells me to do, and I just need to actually sit down and watch a film, which is always difficult for me.
Because it's about dogs, stray dogs, like surviving. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And sort of leaning on each other to help stay alive and things like that.
It seems appealing, but yeah, it requires me to sit down for an hour and a half or however long it is.
I think you would thoroughly enjoy it. You would, if you kept an open mind. You know?
Right. Yeah. I do not doubt that I would enjoy it.
Oh, of course, yes.
It's just a matter of me, telling myself I need to pay attention to something for an hour and a half instead of just futzing around playing little video games and watching stuff that's easily digestible that I can ignore half the time.
You know what? I meet so many people who are not like film enthusiasts like I am, and they say so similar things, and it kind of crushes me.
I'm sorry.
No, not at all. It's different. I've known you for most of my life, but then I'll meet these people that are just like, oh yeah, that's just something I watch when I'm ironing. I'm like, what the fuck what is the point? So, anyway.
See, you should be happy that I want to give films the attention that they deserve. It's just really hard for me to dish out that attention, so that's why I don't.
No, I completely get it, and again, I think that's one of the things. Quite honestly, why I love having you as a partner in this endeavor that we are pursuing here is that you're very good with words. You're very articulate, and you finish my thoughts. Like
I try my best to keep
do
things moving.
You do a really good job. It's a gift. I don't know. I think you're strangely, uniquely intuitive, and it's just that. And you're my tech guy. So
this is true.
That helps too.
All the setup is my fault.
Yeah. I would like to, I would like to think that I have contributed, mics are mine.
You brought the equipment. I put it together.
So yes. So please start asking me about Phoenician Scheme.
Yeah. So, usually you talk about who's in it. I know there's at least one person that's a relatively well-known star.
Oh yes, Benicio del Toro.
Mm.
Benicio del Toro he's huge,
Mm-hmm.
and he is, not only is he just like a huge presence, as an actor,
Mm-hmm.
he is hugely, just he's so statesman-like, and he's um and also very like beautifully articulate, and very strong-willed, and his presence in this film is just so impressive and award worthy, and nothing shocking from Benicio del Toro. I mean, I think he has spent his life in these, doing these kinds of roles. He put so much of, he you can tell he really dives in, and not only does the research, but he's so believable, and genuine, and just a very good actor. He's just a very good performer, and I've been admiring him for decades. Just I remember being so impressed with him in The Usual Suspects. I remember seeing that in my 20s, and I just thought, God, Benicio del Toro is amazing, and he's like this. He's like this hoodlum. He's a thief, with all these other thieves,
Oh, okay.
and they're all like sort of working together. This is The Usual Suspects,
Oh, okay.
and he's a foreigner, and he intentionally is like, because Benicio del Toro speaks very articulately, and you can understand what he's saying, but this particular character that he plays in The Usual Suspects, he's like, hey, and then he like intentionally does that. It's really hard to understand this character. I think it's really kind of part of that character, and sort of part of because they all the hoodlums, the gangsters, the thieves, that are, there's it's Gabriel Byrne, and quite a few other actors. They all have their own, unique sort of
their characterizations.
Their characterizations, yes, their quirks, which makes them kind of lovable thieves, hoodlums, whatever. But anyway, I was really just trying to talk about, like, the depth of Benicio del Toro's career. But this is, I mean, this is, again, everything he's done is amazing, but and to call this like one of his career best is kind of obscene. But I want to call it like one of his, like, once again, I just think, God, Benicio del Toro just blew me away, because I've seen him in other things where I'm just like, that's Benicio del Toro, I expect nothing less. And there's stuff like this where I see him and I'm just like, this blows me away. But yes, Benicio del Toro plays Jaja Corda, who is this European arms dealer, industrialist kind of a guy.
Okay.
Yes, he's very intimidating, and he, because of his power and his money and he pisses a lot of people off, and he has survived a number of assassination attempts. And what's so funny about this film is that, like, every time there is like some sort of an assassination attempt that is attempted upon him, and then he survives yet another one, he just pushes through, and
just like it's a daily occurrence,
and goes on. And then even when there's not one, but there's like a fear of one, this is another thing that's really funny about Wes Anderson films. There's like these repeated lines, like, and so Phoenician Scheme is no exception. The film starts out, there's assassination attempt, and like this whole half of his private jet is blown off.
Oh, jeez.
So his personal assistant gets like blown off the plane. Well, actually, he's decapitated. You see that? And so there's this other scene where he's with his daughter, and then his new assistant, who's played by Michael Cera, is sitting in the same seat in the back where his first assistant was blown off. And they hear like this noise, and he goes, "Oh, Benicio del Toro says, oh, that's the same noise I heard when the other assassination attempt." He goes, "But I'm not worried. I feel very safe." And he says that a lot through the film.
I'm not worried. I feel very safe.
And then, of course, you just have to laugh. So anyway, he is, he basically is, he's flying from country to country in Europe, and he's talking to and there's, of course, there's like American industrialists involved too, and they're played by Bryan Cranston and Tom Hanks.
Oh,
again, Wes Anderson has his darlings as far as actors. If you ask me, every actor is a Wes Anderson darling, but you do see a lot of the same actors in the same movies, and there's a multitudinum of actors in all of Wes Anderson films. Again, Phoenician's Scheme is no exception. But yeah, I mean, even Willem Dafoe is one of his darlings. Willem Dafoe, every time there's an assassination attempt on him while he's unconscious, Zsa, he's in heaven, and there's like these bishops, and one of them's played by Willem Dafoe, and oh my god, I can't even begin to. Oh yeah, F. Murray Abraham is he's like a prophet or bishop, and Bill Murray is God.
Oh jeez.
But they're all very bearded and like biblical looking, and even Benicio del Toro in heaven, and all the scenes are in black and white. He's even wearing like these robes, and they're all in robes, and they're all, but it's like he's like his judgment.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like his judgment. So, and of course, his first wives are all there too.
Of course.
But yeah, he's going from country to country, and he's trying to seal the deal on this this sort of mode of transportation, and there is water involved in it too. So it's supposed to be like a means of natural resources, and it's also a means of natural resources, and it's going to bring a lot of jobs. So it's supposed to be doing a lot of good. So I think he's trying.
Yeah, it's an odd project to take on.
He's trying.
Arms dealer.
Well, he's trying to do something good, I guess. Yeah. I suppose. But so all the industrialists from the different countries are all they've all agreed to contribute a certain amount.
Okay.
But they keep getting pissed off because he keeps changing the deal.
Of course.
Before he interacts,
because that's what he's used to.
Yes. But what's the beauty about his performance is that you are still very endeared to him. Like there's some humanity in him, even though
he tries.
Yeah, and he's a little toxic in the beginning of the film, and then he meets, he's reunited with his daughter for the first time since she was a small child, and his daughter is a very devout woman of faith. In fact, she's almost a nun. Yes, so she's almost like a novice nun, and she's in the white like nunnery kind of outfit. So
we understand why she was not in his life for all these years.
Yes, that's
get thee to a nunnery.
Well, yeah, her name is Liesel. She's beautifully played by Mia Threapleton, and she's a young actor. She's a very young actor, and I think she's very up and coming, but I think she fit this Wes Anderson part so well because she had the whole like deadpan matter of fact, because things are happening to her. They're basically reunited because he knows, I think he's worried that his end is near because there's been many assassination attempts on him.
Right.
So
he can't dodge them forever.
He is leaving his business to her.
Oh, okay.
And he has like all these young sons from his previous wives, but he's not leaving it to any of them.
Of course.
And her whole question is like, why are you leaving to me? We've been estranged all this time, and why all of a sudden are you? She goes, I don't want your, I'm a nun. I don't want your
right.
I don't want your stuff, But he says, okay, this is a trial period. So he takes her on these negotiations with all these other industrialists and everything, she teaches him a lot about about being a better person, about being a better father, and she herself is learning, that he is not the horrible guy that she thought he assumed that he was.
Right.
And you sort of see her loosen up as the film, she becomes, because she's such a nun in the beginning, and then later you see her like smoking a cigar and then partaking of wine and things like that. So she's her purity, so to speak, is because she's becoming less, she's
yeah,
she's becoming less, she's feeling, a little more unbound, I suppose, because she's been in this religious order her whole life.
Right. Yeah. It's the whole going away to college after you've grown up in a Catholic school. You realize that there's a lot more going on.
But it is, the film itself, the cast, the ensemble is as mind-blowing as any other Wes Anderson film. I mean, again, Benicio del Toro, my Threapleton, Michael Cera, Riz Ahmed, Tom Hanks, Bryan Cranston, Richard Ayoade, Jeffrey Wright, Scarlett Johansson, Benedict Cumberbatch, Rupert Friend, Hope Davis, F. Murray Abraham, Willem Dafoe, Bill Murray. These are all, they have all been in Wes Anderson films, at least two of them. Some are almost appear in all of them, but they are what I call Wes Anderson darlings. But I think every actor is a Wes Anderson darling.
There's something to it. A lot of people like working with them.
So. Jeffrey Wright has become a regular in many of his films.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So Jeffrey Wright plays one of the industrialists. He saves his life. He gives him blood after one of his assassination attempts.
Of course.
So yeah, it's also a little more engaging. I think your mainstream enthusiast would find most Wes Anderson films kind of boring because they're very dialogue heavy. Not only are they dialogue heavy, they're like what I said. There's almost no emotion to the dialogue. Everything is just said so deadpan and matter of factly. Asteroid City was just the film that came out before this. Was probably my least favorite Wes Anderson film, although I enjoyed it. Because there's kind of like this Jeff Goldblum as an alien sort of thing, which anybody would find cool.
Yeah, it's been done.
But it's definitely, I definitely found Phoenician's Game much more engaging.
Yeah.
Yes. much more going on.
Far more interesting story.
Very interesting story.
Characters you can get behind.
I mean, yeah, yeah, and Michael Cera as his Michael Cera is his character's name is Bjorn, and Bjorn is like this Norwegian tutor who teaches the kids about insects and things like that, but he's actually a double agent for the US government.
Aha.
But even when that is revealed, he acts as Corda's assistant. So everybody becomes loyal to him. Like his daughter, you know, he discovers his humanity, and the double agent discovers his humanity, you know, that this guy actually has humanity and is a good person and that kind of thing. If you're familiar with British comedy and the British comedy shows, Richard Ayoade, as he's this guerrilla who he's in charge of this revolutionary group, and they completely they terrorize they basically like rob one of the industrialists in his bar where they're like negotiating and things like that. But then he afterwards the Richard Ayoade and the guerrillas start working for Corda.
So basically he just has this ridiculous charisma score that he wins all the roles. Yeah.
yeah.
It's impossible to lose.
Charisma score, that's it. Like but the daughter too, Liesel, she has her own reasons why she's with him on this trip. Is she's trying to find out whether or not he murdered her mother, which he did not. And in fact, he states that he loved her very much. But there's still just things about him that he's not revealing, but you eventually, like, as things are happening and things are like blowing up and exploding and there's more assassination attempts, there are more and more secrets that he is revealing to Liesel, and he's giving her like save combinations and all this kind of stuff. Very, very involved film, you know, as is with every Wes Anderson movie. So
it sounds delightful.
It is very delightful. I love this film. I think, again, it's probably in my top 5 now of Wes Anderson films. So it's
nothing bad to say about it, huh?
No, I really don't. I mean, and then Benedict Cumberbatch plays like his evil brother, who kind of shows up at the latter part of the film. And so they have this whole past too, so that all that unfolds, and there's so much going on. So I'm trying to find out. Nah, that's not important. Anyway,
all right then.
So yes, go. So whatever questions you go ahead. I don't need to talk about this. It's way too much anymore.
Yeah, there's not like a big secret or reveal or anything like that. It just sounds like it's just an enjoyable little story. Typically what Wes Anderson does, just sort of like a snippet of some interesting characters in an interesting situation. Yes, it looks very pretty.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Is everything centered as usual?
Yes, everything is centered.
Yeah, it's oddly centered, flat background, usually a circle of some kind in the middle that just sort of surrounds all the actors.
Yes, yes. You see that too when they're on trains and things like that.
It's just the view that he seems to enjoy.
The arch of the architecture or their mode of transportation is always, this framing of some form as you would have it. But so what was I gonna say?
Yeah, I can't really think of any other questions that I want to know about. So you've already covered the actors. It's Wes Anderson as most Wes Anderson-ly.
Wes Anderson-ly.
Yeah. It sounds like a good example of his work.
Some of the funniest, one of the funniest parts of the film is where he's showing his daughter before they embark on this journey to meet with all the other industrialists of Europe and America. He's showing her like these different like suitcases and trunks and things like that.
Okay.
And they were like what I was talking about earlier. In all Wes Anderson films, there's like a tab on it that is going to have some kind of meaning very imminently. So he's showing her like all these different like pocketbooks and just containers and things like that have pieces of his life and that have to do with either the negotiating or how he has gotten to this point in his industrialist career. And then before you even meet any of his sons are all just like running around wild. And then you see like this arrow like fly out of nowhere and then almost like hits him, and I think at one point too, I think he does get hit by the arrow. But that's another thing about Wes Anderson films. Like something randomly will just like like an arrow will just come and like,
and usually the reaction is something to the effect of, oh well, look at that.
Yes. Very good. You could be in a Wes Anderson film.
No one's in like serious life-threatening danger, really.
But they are.
Yeah. Which is so weird.
But they are. But they're just so matter of fact about it.
Yeah.
So anyway, I don't have anything else.
So let's get into the nitty-gritty of it then. What would you rate this film?
It's 5 stars.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you said it's one of your favorites, if not your most favorite of his.
Yeah. In fact, I would say it's in my top 3. Wow. I just can't decide if I want it to be 1, 2, or 3 yet.
Yeah. It'll change on a daily basis usually.
Mm-hmm. No, it's a beautiful film.
Perfect.
Yeah. And such, again, just this amazing performance by Benicio del Toro. Just incredible.
Is it his possibly his claim to fame for his entire career, or not necessarily claim to fame, but his whatever his grand achievement?
Maybe one of them.
Yeah.
And I mentioned this earlier. It's sort of obscene to say that anything would be his career best, because his performances are always just outstanding. And
he always brings it.
Yeah, and it's just so much intensity too. Like these aren't easy characters to play. These people that he plays, I mean, he's played drug addicts, in recovery. He's played like hoodlums and gangsters, and now he's like this industrialist, who sort of this almost kind of sort of toxic industrialist who's learning, to be kind of a softer human being. It's
learning
just
about humanity.
Yeah, he never picks a light role.
He always has it. Enjoys his meat. Um.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's a very very meaty character
Mm.
indeed.
So I kind of have a feeling I know what the answer to these questions are, but I'm assuming yes, you would play this at your film festival. You have to think about it.
Well, I would have to think about it because I'm trying to. I mean, I might. Yeah, Phoenician Scheme would have multiple screenings.
Oh,
Yeah.
So would you have just like somehow finagle it so you have one theater that just shows it on a loop all weekend long?
No, I would have to show it like on a Friday and Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah, I would show it both nights.
Wow.
It's Wes Anderson too.
Yeah, you're gonna get a lot of people coming to see it.
Every film darling, every film enthusiast, every film geek is, has seen this, will see this, will want to see this. So I would have to program it for 2 nights at a very prime time, on very prime time evenings, very prime time days. So it's Fridays and Saturday nights, definitely.
So this is one of your favorite films of his. Does that mean that it's one of his best films?
I would say that. I mean that's I would have to say arguably, because his all of his films are so good. And I have my least favorite ones, and I have one or two that I definitely think, he I thought they were maybe corny and kitschy and just sort of, okay, he made this for a more mainstream kind of an audience. That's kind of how I feel about Grand Budapest Hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was trying to appeal to a wider audience.
Yeah. And of course it makes sense, and it did appeal to a wider audience because, there's a Lego of the Grand Budapest Hotel. So,
True.
No offense to Legos, of course. I love them, but it proves my point, right? So,
yeah. But yeah, because there's also a Twilight set as well, unfortunately. So yeah, Lego does that.
I want to briefly, I don't think I touched enough on Benicio del Toro's career. I want to talk about it more, if you don't mind.
Go for it, man.
Yeah.
Tell us more about him.
Since you've already asked me the film festival question.
Yeah.
He is an Academy Award winner. He's a BAFTA Award winner. He is a Golden Globe winner. He's Puerto Rican. Let's see. He won his Academy Award for Traffic, which is won a very good Steven Soderbergh film. He is, I mean, he's in all the movies with the big time directors, the powerhouse directors like Steven Soderbergh, and then of course one of my favorite directors, Alejandro Gonzalez Iñárritu. He's Thriller 21 Grams. He was in that. I know people have talked a lot about his performance in The Wolfman. Of course, The Usual Suspects, which is one of my favorite films. He was in Basquiat, which he co-starred in with Jeffrey Wright, who Jeffrey Wright is in Phoenician Scheme and in a handful of other Wes Anderson films.
And of course.
So yeah, I just wanted to briefly touch on why Benicio del Toro is so great. Like, if you wanted more specifics, I mean, yeah, if you haven't, if you're not that big of a film enthusiast, but you hear me raving about Benicio del Toro, you should go back and try and watch a lot of his stuff. His filmography is, very extensive. He's in so much stuff, and again, he's won many awards, and all the powerhouse directors just love him.
He must be a delight to work with.
I think it's just because of his range. I think
Yeah.
because he's just willing to just dive in and play these very complicated kind of characters.
He gets it.
Yeah, completely.
Excellent.
So yes, I think I'm done.
You're done glowing about Benicio.
Yes, done glowing about the wonderful Benicio del Toro.
The Benicio del Toro appreciation episode. Well, I guess we'll wrap it up there then. So thanks for watching our episode of the Benicio del Toro hour. No, the Bad Pop Song. Remember to check out our website, badpopsong.com. Latest episodes, links to songs and films and whatever else nonsense we talk about. And of course, be sure to like and subscribe to Bad Pop Song on YouTube. Hit those little buttons down there.
Yes.
Tune in next time when Bo continues to invite us into his magical, wondrous bubblegum world of all things media and music and things that make you cringe.
And guess what? Dan will be there.
Yeah, it's weird. I am his sidekick.
Yes.
I will always be there.
So
carrying his luggage or flying his planes. Am I the one steering the magic carpet ride?
I would say you're more of like the tour guide.
The exits are here, anywhere.
Yeah.
Well, until next time, I'm Dan.
I'm Bo.
Have fun.
Stay groovy.